Why young voters, especially women, are shifting the future of American politics. As the votes from the November 2025 elections settle and analysts observe a broad Democratic sweep across major regions, the question emerges, what drove this shift? The surface explanation appears to be affordability. Americans cite rising food prices, expensive housing, and unaffordable health insurance as their top concerns. But beneath the headlines lies a deeper political transformation, one shaped heavily by young voters, and especially young women, who are increasingly rejecting both major parties in search of something entirely different. What voters say they are feeling. Across the country, frustration has reached a boiling point. Many voters blame Republicans for current affordability problems, even though the party has been in power for only 10 months. Yet during those 10 months, several measurable changes have taken place. Under Republican leadership, the border has been effectively closed, gas prices have decreased, inflation has stabilized, and food costs are finally showing signs of declining. Wage gains have begun outpacing inflation for the first time in years. But voters often respond emotionally to long-term frustration, not short-term data. Many still associate the recent years of hardship with the political system as a whole. Why Republicans are still blamed. Despite improvements, public sentiment has not shifted. Many Americans remember the previous 4 years under Democratic leadership, a period that saw nearly 20% inflation, a surge of 14 to 20 million illegal immigrants placing pressure on housing and public systems, and double-digit increases in Obamacare premiums. To many voters, especially those living paycheck to paycheck, these changes felt overwhelming. But instead of blaming the party that presided over these trends, many redirected their frustration toward the party currently in power, simply because it was nearest in time. This emotional reflex is common in modern politics. When people are under financial stress, they often seek immediate relief rather than long-term explanations. The real reason for the shift: the youth. However, the most significant shift did not come from older or middle-aged voters. It came from the youth, particularly those between 18 and 29. This age group is increasingly abandoning both Republicans and Democrats. In polling data and voter interviews, a pattern emerges. Young adults feel disillusioned, disappointed, and disconnected from both parties. They are searching for something that promises stability, fairness, and security. This dissatisfaction is especially strong among young women. Why young women are turning to socialist-leaning options. To understand why young women are driving the largest political shift in America, it helps to look beyond modern politics and into something much older, human evolutionary wiring. For thousands of years, across cultures and across the animal kingdom, survival depended on a simple division of roles. Females were the nurturers, the caregivers responsible for protecting children, maintaining the home environment, and ensuring the long-term survival of the family. Males played a parallel role, securing resources, providing physical protection, and defending against outside threats. This wasn't ideology. It wasn't politics. It was biology. Throughout human history, the well-being of a woman and her children depended heavily on the stability and reliability of the protector-provider role. But in today's society, that ancient survival structure has been turned completely upside down. Marriage rates are collapsing. The traditional family unit is weakening. More women are left to navigate adulthood, finances, and even parenting alone. And as these support structures disappear, the instinctive need for security, wired into women over thousands of generations, becomes more pronounced. Women now face the pressures that historically were shared with or carried by a partner: financial stability, safety, long-term planning, raising children, and the emotional responsibilities of family life. When the protector-provider role is absent or unreliable, the instinctive response is to seek security elsewhere. And in the modern world, the only available substitute is institutions, political movements, government programs, or leaders who promise stability, support, and protection. This helps explain why young women are increasingly drawn to political platforms offering free healthcare, subsidized childcare, guaranteed housing, income support, and expansive social programs. These policies fill the gap left by a social structure that no longer provides the security once offered by stable families and dependable partnerships. Men do feel economic stress, but historically they were not wired to rely on external support for family survival in the same way. Women, because of their traditional role in nurturing and sustaining life, experience instability more sharply and respond by seeking systems that restore predictability and safety. This is not weakness. It is the natural human response of a group historically responsible for the survival of the next generation, now trying to adapt to a world where traditional sources of security have eroded. What this means for the future of American politics. The trends of the 2025 election suggest a larger realignment underway. Young voters are no longer loyal to either political party. Instead, they are searching for systems that promise predictability, autonomy, and affordability. Women are at the center of this movement. Their growing dissatisfaction is reshaping political priorities, shifting the focus toward economic protection, family support, and government guarantees. As long as housing remains unaffordable, healthcare remains expensive, and family stability remains uncertain, this trend will continue. America is not simply witnessing a political swing, it is witnessing a generational transformation, a shift driven by emotion, grounded in insecurity, strengthened by economic pressure, and amplified by the collapse of traditional support structures. The future of American politics will be determined by how these concerns are addressed or ignored. Summary. As analysts continue to assess the 2025 election results, one thing is unmistakable. America's youth, especially young women, have become the most influential force in modern politics. Their fears, hopes, and expectations are reshaping the nation's direction, one election at a time. At the same moment, broader ideological movements are challenging long-standing social roles, including efforts to diminish the traditional male position as protector and provider, recasting men as passive followers in a re-engineered social order. But if we are to pass our way of life, our freedoms, and our national character on to the next generation, both political parties must confront today's real-world problems head-on, strengthening families, restoring community stability, promoting responsibility, and reaffirming the values that built this nation. These are not partisan goals. They are necessary steps to secure the future. By acknowledging today's challenges with honesty and determination, we can chart a path that ensures America remains strong, resilient, and worthy of being handed proudly to those who come after us.